All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I want to welcome everybody to the Rikishi Driver Talk Show. It is January the 9th, the Saturday here in the West Coast, Los Angeles, California. January the 9th, 2021. And so I hope everybody is doing fine out there. Before we start this show, as always, I want to send a shout out. And this show here is powered by KnokX Pro Entertainment. Also, I want to take this time. If you do like the show, make sure you share it, repost it, hit it up all over your social media, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms, yada, yada, yada. And I want to thank all those for sending also donations to the show out here. Much love. I don't need it, but thank you. Thank you anyways. I'll take it, So I hope you guys are doing fine, man. It is Saturday here in the West Coast. I ain't been doing too much, just back and forth to KnokX Pro Entertainment at the domain, helping to work on the new shows that are coming out. The I Am Wrestling shows, LIW, Live Interaction Wrestling. So that's something about KnokX Pro. Always just coming up with new ideas for you, the wrestling fans. And I'm very proud to be a part of that. So make sure you guys follow KnokX Pro on all social media platforms. Also, check them out every Tuesday. It is the I Am Wrestling Live. Giving opportunity to all the wrestlers that are out there independents, because I know you guys ain't booked anywhere. Ain't no promoters running any shows. Can't bring, fans into the building. So you know what time it is. Everything is online. And as always, KnokX Pro Entertainment provides. So without that, man, I want to take this time here to say that I am very, very excited, very, very honored to have this Uso of mine, man, from a while. He is a former UFC fighter, 3 times world champion, AFC, Chaos, IKBF world heavyweight champion, an author of Face Your Fears, Telethon, Make-A-Wish Foundation, White Ribbon Ambassador, and also the mental health advocate. 27 fights, 22 wins, 18 KO, 4 submissions. So this cat here, he's from the island of Tonga, lives out there in Australia, and by the name of Soa, the Hulk Palelei. And I can't recall, but it's been a minute, when I was out there in Perth, Australia. I actually came in there to do a show, an independent show out there. And, we ran into each other there. And from that day forward, we've been in brotherhood, Usos, if you would, if that's what we call it. And, I've watched his career take off. And he actually came to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I was there for his UFC fight. And, man, let me tell you, man, I don't know who was more excited. He was excited or I was excited just because, I was there to be able to be a part of, a Polynesian Uso, Toko Uso's, debut, I believe, in the UFC. And so I can't say enough that, I want to take this time to kind of catch up with Soa, to see what he's been up to, the past, the present, and now the future, and to see what he's been up to. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you my friend, my Uso, Soa, the Hulk Palelei.
Out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist, holding professional record, 19 wins, 3 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 264 pounds. Fighting out of Perth, Western Australia, Soa, the Hulk Palelei.
Soa the Hulk. Dude, if I get tweeted one more time about this guy, man, everybody and their mother tweets me about this guy.
Wow. Boy, I guess everybody was tweeting Dana White about you, huh?
Yeah, everyone was trying to make noise to get me back into the UFC, but it's man, it's good to be on here also, and man, I've missed you so much, even though we've been keeping in contact here and that, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time before we need to hit some buffets together soon.
Doko, you know, I first of all, I want to say God bless you. Again, I miss you much before we even came on, you know, our production meeting. You know, I didn't want to tell all the stories behind the scene before we came on live. You know, there's a bunch of two Usos from back in the day. And, you know, years later, I can't remember. Do you remember the year when we came there to Perth, Australia?
Oh man, that was probably about going on 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a long time.
All I remember is just you and John and the whole crew, man. But anyway, shout out to the whole crew that was out there. You guys know who you are. If you're watching this, I miss you guys. Thank you for taking care of it. But all I remember was all the bars, all the good food, the buffets that we went to, man. I know when we were there, we probably left when we put on an extra 50 pounds.
Oh, it was, man. It's and because my mate, and I was brought up with John Leilua, we were brought up together as going through school and stuff, and his whole thing was, man, I can't believe Rikishi's here, and just being around you guys was a dream come true for him because he's you know born and bred Samoan, and he loves his heritage, and to be around you guys was like was a kind of a dream for him, but not knowing myself as well, but because I've followed yourself and the whole, just everything you've done throughout your career. So massive, we're huge fan, and what you've done to the Polynesian, and how you've inspired a lot of Polynesians to make it. It's you could be anything that you want to do, and if you want to make it to the WWE and be the world champ, you can. If you want to, whatever you want to do in life, you can do it, and you've stepped up, and amongst other Polynesians stepped up in the WWE as well. So,
well, thank you for that. Listen, it's a team effort. It's how we're all raised up. That's a part of the Polynesian. It can be Samoan, Tongan, Fiji, you name it. But we're all, we all come from the same culture, and I believe that it starts within your culture, and then as we go on, we're a bunch of crazy island boys that we come into this world of fighting, world of professional wrestling, and once we see that opportunity, it's a go for us. You don't miss that opportunity. And the one thing about I want to say this, the one thing about Polynesians in general, we don't give a damn. We ain't scared of nothing. Some of us are good businessmen. Some of them are not good business people. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at a Polynesian Uso or Toko, you can rest assured you got you a thoroughbred that's ready to work.
Oh, 100%. And I guess that's what makes me so hungry, is that not knocking our heritage, not knocking my where I'm from, Tonga, but I could have been another stat. There's so many talented islanders, especially in the islands, that can do anything. Rugby, whether it's playing rugby, going to the NFL, whatever they wanted to do. There's so many talented islanders, but they get stuck into this. Going to the kava nights, going to turning to alcohol and stuff like that, which being led away by bad things that I've seen so many people lead in that way, and myself, my whole career, I have kind of isolated myself away from all that, and made sure that wherever I wanted to go, I needed to be around that. When I was in LA, I stayed with Dan Henderson at Temecula, and I surrounded myself, and that was out of my comfort zone, because I had no family, no one around. Basically, we're living in a house with Dan Henderson, Mayhem Miller, all the top UFC, Matt Lindland, all these guys were in that one gym, and it was a grind every day. You had to get it. Like, I'm sure it's like KnokX Pro. You walk into this gym, you want to make it to the WWE. You got to be hungry. So, and that was me. So, for me to kind of get out of my comfort zone, and if I want to be into the UFC, I've got to do what I got to do. So,
well, you're absolutely right, Uzo. I believe everybody has a choice. Whether it's the culture, whether wherever you're from, that you're born and raised with a brain, and to me, that's the most strongest tool that you can use. So the atmosphere that you're in is like, or anybody's in, you have a choice. So good for you. Good for you for making that choice. It doesn't mean that you're singled out because you choose to isolate yourself. To me, people try to knock that. Hey, that's garbage. Everybody wants you got to do what you got to do to be able to work on the goals, the future, or whatever you have planned for your life. So I got a question for you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And not taking away from what you said about I know in my heart and in my bloodline, I'm Tongan. My heritage and everything. That's when I step in the octagon, it's on. The man I'm representing the whole country. I'm representing the Polynesians. I'm leading the way, like, with what I want to do. So in my heart, but what I needed to do to be at that level, I needed to kind of sacrifice to take myself out of the comfort zone, to be at these camps where these guys are going to grind on you. They're going to they're going to be on you. And I remember the first time I rocked up to Temecula, Ryan Parsons picked me up from the airport, and I was quite heavy, and he didn't realize how quite heavy I was. So I was overweight, and I thought to myself, I've given him 10 minutes. If he doesn't rock up in the next 10 minutes, I'm hopping on a plane going back to Australia. And then he walked around the corner, and a guy named King Mo Loyal. So he was there, and he picked me up and he goes, "Damn, you're huge." And so we end up making we end up making our way back to Temecula, and I thought to myself, "Damn, if we'll see how it goes." But it was a good learning experience, because every day was a grind. I was coming back to the house, and I was thinking, man, I was shaking my head and crawling in the bed, but it was good because it said, man, if I want to be at this level, I need to grind, I need to hustle. So and I did.
So let's take it back there. That we're talking about, the grind and the hustle. So can you explain to my listeners, the listeners here, what made you like, okay, I'm going to jump into this fighting game? How did that come about?
I boxed as a kid, and just to stay out of trouble, and well, that didn't work. But I eventually got into I started doing wrestling and freestyle and Greco wrestling, and from there went into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I was training with a training partner of mine, a guy named Javi Heskey, and he was only 90 kilos and I was 120, and he kept choking me out and armbarring me. I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I need to learn something here. So I kind of fell in love with this whole jiu-jitsu, and that was at the time where UFC wasn't even huge, and it was so I started, the art. I started, learning it. Back then, there was no YouTube. There was no. It was basic the VHS cassettes that you'd get. I would ordering from the US, and I used to get these VHS, and I used to put them in, press rewind, and play, and watch them. Kind of so many times, and just learning the techniques, and then I just kind of started doing it. From there, I thought I'll just have my first fight. But I think the love of competing was, because I played rugby, as a Polynesian kid, that you grow up in, you grow up on the islands, but that didn't help me in a way of what I needed to do, because I was dealing with a lot of mental health problems throughout my career, as well. So when I was dealing through, depression, anxiety, and suicide. So, and I think when I talk about the UFC, it has helped me in a way. Through the hard times that I was going through, people say to me, how has the UFC helped you? And I say, look, when I channel everything in. So when I'm in the octagon and I walk up and down, and Bruce Buffer is on he's announcing my name. The person I see across the octagon is not my opponent. It's the person that hurt me when I was younger. So I kind of channel things into that, even though that wasn't an answer, even though it was just a band-aid over an issue that I was going through. But and that's the thing, I couldn't talk about it back in the day because as Polynesians we can't talk about stuff that's going on because it's frowned upon. So,
and it's kind of in a weird way, unless you're a performer, it was like therapy. Like I know when we look across and it's go time, let's just say, we walk in not only for ourselves as Samoan, but Polynesian culture is on our back. The pride, and we carry that as we walk through. But when you see the opponent across, we take, we take that rage out, everything that was hurting me inside. I'm sorry, my friend, but you're the one that's going to pay for it tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird. I mean, we're not abusive people, I'm sure. But when that's the only time that you can really put your hands on somebody and it's illegal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Right? I know where you're coming from.
So good for you, man. I mean, hey, you gotta find that place that's where it's gonna help you. And if it was that during that time going through depression, you knew exactly where you need to go and what you needed to do to help yourself. And I see you now, you're going into a lot of the movies and stuff. Tell me about that, how you got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator.
Well, we were basically at he was doing a keynote talk in Sydney, and I was doing a presentation on mental health, and I was in the green room, and we were like kind of saying hello, and they said, man, listen, you got to come over to my house. And I thought, oh man, are you serious? Because I do a lot of stuff for kids at schools and stuff. I do a lot of mental health presentations and at schools, and also we've got a thing called Strong Minds. It's a presentation that we do, program that we roll into mining, and not only that, into corporate and that as well. So just educating people on reaching out, educating people on how to have that conversation, educating people on how to reach out. Because there's a lot of people, especially men, there's more suicide in men than women. Why? Because men can't talk about their problems, but there's also suicide in women as well. But women can have a coffee, sit down, have a chat. A lot of guys, find it hard to have that conversation, and that stems from people, can't. You say something, hey, listen, I'm struggling today. All of a sudden, they turn around and say, mate, toughen up.
It's the ego. Right, it's the ego of a man. Like I don't want to let. So Rikishi's not going to let you know I'm weak. So therefore, even though I know you, I don't feel comfortable telling anybody my personal problems.
100%. Yeah. So, and that's the stigma that surrounds that. Those are kind of comments that fuel that stigma. So, and what we're trying to do is stamp out the stigma and get people to have that conversation, getting people to, if you are struggling with something, talk. Because I nearly took my life. I nearly, if it wasn't for my oldest daughter that saved my life, I would have hung myself. So, and it was by a simple text message that she sent, that replied text message that saved my life. So, it's one of those things that I'm blessed, and I am so thankful for God that I'm here to actually, and it wasn't my time. Because now I'm here kind of helping people and saving people's lives and stuff like that by promoting mental health and helping people. So that's why I'm a massive kind of advocate when it comes to mental health. So helping people out there that are struggling.
Well, damn, man, I got the goosebumps when you're talking to me about that. Number one, I'm glad you came to your senses. And, if it took, sometimes we got to sit back and think what's really important in our lives. As we see our kids that are growing up from babies to women and young men, There's just, it's almost not about me anymore. It's not about you anymore. It's
Yeah.
about, our kids and those that are coming up, and those kids that's been in the same similar situation, such as yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you're Polynesian or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kids in general.
Yeah.
They need to know that there's a way out. And
Yeah.
it's important that, I'm happy that you're on here to talk about your story like that, because, it's each one teach one, I believe.
Yeah.
Your stories
Yeah.
are my stories, are your stories.
Yeah.
It can help people, to move forward and to
Mm.
understand that, there's a way,
Mm.
and the choice is all yours.
And everyone has a story. Like you, Rikishi, you have your own story. Everyone has a story. This is my story, and my story. With the hard upbringing that I was going through, and and telling my story to people. And
Yeah.
it's funny when you do talk to people. Anyone can stand there and kind of say, "Hey, listen, this is the stats. 2019, 2020, there was this many suicides." But people won't listen. Like, in order for them to listen, they need to feel it in their heart in order for them to listen, of what you are saying is true. So if you're telling something about your life story, they might relate to it in some sort of way. It goes, "Hey, you know what? I've gone through that," and listen to it and go, "I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to get help." And that as well. And there's so many athletes that I've spoken to, whether they're playing rugby league, boxers, UFC fighters that have gone through it,
Yeah.
and me talking to them about that's something that's helped me. It might help them or help you in that as well. So,
And that's a lot of things with celebrities. For those of you that are listening, don't think just because you see celebrities, from boxers to wrestlers to fighters to actors to you name it. I don't think for 1 second we don't have problems.
yeah,
We go through it all. The only difference between you and us is that we're in the spotlight. And
yeah,
so for us, this thing here, God forbid we go out to do, with all the editing of footage on Instagram and all,
yeah,
before you even know it, they shoot out something and you're out there and it's like, man,
yeah,
I didn't do that. Well,
yeah,
there's the video right there. That's you, ain't it? You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So you almost gotta be careful of stuff today, man. Again, it goes back to the choices that, the kids make it. So, but the kids
yeah,
nowadays, so they have so much more opportunity than when we did. You
yeah,
talk about you had to put your videos on freaking VHSs.
yeah,
Now they got freaking iPhones now. You know what I
yeah,
mean? What do they do? They can edit up a video in a matter of 30
yeah,
seconds. And before you know it, looks like it came out of Hollywood.
yeah. Oh, it's crazy how the whole phone and how things have evolved back in the day, to what it is now. Because I didn't even know what TikTok was until I've banned my son not to hop on any social media. And then all of a sudden, "Oh, TikTok's nothing, Dad." But I didn't know what TikTok was. All of a sudden, it's like, and then he's on doing these TikTok things, and I'm just like, "Oh no, oh geez, okay, cool."
Mm.
But it's crazy how things are, and there's so much, not only hate, but bullying and stuff like that are on. And that's something that I talk to these kids about social media, about bullying and stuff, and how it can harm someone. And that stigma surrounds their social media as well, because people put pictures up and they think, "Hey, listen, can you change my foot, my picture, maybe bring in my sides a little bit, put some abs on, but and it's those things. I think it's it's a dangerous tool, that's for sure.
What is the advice you would give the Hulk Palelei fans out there that are listening, as far
Um,
as social media and what you've learned coming up through your journey?
I don't really watch for now. I don't even know what to believe
Yeah.
because in the
Yep.
last kind of couple of years, so I just stay off mainstream media. I just don't even listen to anything apart from just believe in God, have faith in God, because at the end of the day, God will get through you, get through this. We'll all get through this, and whatever is right, whatever is wrong, but we are in testing times. I'm sure, like I've seen your video the other day with you talking about things and how emotional it was because it's geez,
Uh,
I've had anxiety thinking about it. Kind of
mm,
thinking about what's going on in this world. It's crazy. Are we going to be safe? What's happening tomorrow? We're on lockdowns in Australia. So in where I am now, Perth, where you guys came, we've locked out to the whole of the rest of Australia. So we can still eat and we're
mm.
in our hub that we are in restaurants and stuff, but the rest of the country are all in lockdown. So it's sad how things have gone. People losing their businesses. I've had friends lost their gyms and that as well because they're in lockdown. So it's crazy.
It's the signs of time.
Yeah,
It's the wheel that turns with the new era, the new year that comes through. What holds for the future?
yeah,
And when
yeah,
we, my thing is, if I wake up every day, my eyes open, and I'm able to breathe another day, I've
yeah,
already won.
yeah,
Whatever I have ahead of me for that 24 hours or the time that I'm breathing, then so be it.
mhm,
So
yeah,
I kind of put that video out there just because it was something that was bothering me. And I
yeah,
wanted to share my thoughts out there. Like, what if? What
yeah,
if it was us?
yeah,
But I'm glad it wasn't. And I
yeah,
know damn well, coming from a Polynesian family, if my ass was up there on the white steps, my family would have whooped my ass before I got up
yeah,
there. Like
yeah,
they'd be pissed off. Number one, why did you spend the money for the ticket for your ass to get up there when you know
yeah,
damn well we don't have the money for your ass to buy a plane ticket to
yeah,
go there. So that's the culture. That's the Polynesian
yeah,
culture. They'll be like, "Oh, who told you to go buy that ticket? Who told you that is none of your business?" So
Oh, geez.
God is
Oh,
good, man. God is good. Years later, fast forward, here me and you are, we're getting this
yeah,
chance to chop it up and so forth. And I'm just so
yeah,
happy to see you, and I'm so happy to hear your voice.
yeah.
To be able to
Oh,
fellowship.
it's crazy when I first met you. I met you in Melbourne when I think at that time was WWF at the time. Or not, might have been just changed over. You guys came for a tour. You toured it over in Melbourne, and you were at the Crown Casino. And I remember it was you, Rey Mysterio was
Mm.
there, and you were standing at the bar, and I thought, man, I didn't know how to approach you. I just didn't know whether I should come there and stand at the bar pretending I'm buying a drink,
I was
and
probably Jack Daniels out.
yeah, and then I came up to the bar pretending I was buying the drink, and I looked at you wouldn't even know probably remember, and I looked at your head and said, hey, what's up, and then you looked at me, and then you went and just nodded your head, and then moved, then you walked off with the guys, and I thought, man, damn, he said hello, what's up?
Yeah.
And the guys came. I went back to the guys that I was with. He goes, oh, what did Rikishi say? And I said, oh yeah. He said, what's up, Wolves? Catch up later. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, really? You said that?
Well, it depended. It depended on the time that you caught me, because
Yeah.
if it was freaking after hours after the show,
Oh,
oh, once the show is done, it's
yeah,
already a 12-pack,
yeah,
24-pack of beer, and then I'm headed to the bar to get me a shot of Jack and listen to some music, and then the
oh,
rest is history. But I'm like there just with aches and pains of the night. You know what I
oh. It
mean?
was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was we were like, yeah.
Okay, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so my body was there, but my mind wasn't.
Yes,
you know, you know what it feels like after you perform.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
we're hurt, man. You know what I mean? We're all in that zone. Like, damn, I messed up my vertebrae tonight. I
yeah,
hurt my shoulder, and so you're gonna deal. You're gonna turn to the next thing here. During our
yeah,
time was Jack Daniels and Jack Daniels and Coke and beer. I mean, we say, we didn't have prescription pills back in the day.
yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't have therapy in the back locker room. It was the boys taking care of the boys.
yeah.
And so, for us, that Jack Daniels, man, BSK back in the day, that's all. Everybody had a
Yeah.
bottle of Jack. And once
Oh,
and you couldn't touch none of my Jack. If you finish your bottle of Jack, you can't have none of mine.
yeah.
So,
Speaking of Jack Daniels, my mate, John Lailua, mate, he drinks like a fish,
Oh
and
Lord.
he drinks that. Yeah, when we came to meet you at the airport, and I said, John, come with me, and for people that are listening, John though, he's a Samoan, but mate, we've been brought up since as a kid, going through high school, and we've hung out together to the state where we were in my room one time, and he brought his new speakers over, and he got it for a birthday present, and his speakers brought it over. We play music and we put it up loud. I didn't hear my mum go off and she was going, turn that music down, but I didn't hear it, and then we were playing it loud. And we'll go, man, John, this speakers are awesome. My mum come through the door. She push kicked the door, come through the door, and she booted my mate John's new stereo system, put a hole in it, and John looked at the stereo system and going, oh, like literally like shocked that my mum's just put her foot through the stereo system, and it's like, to this day, he goes, man, you still owe me a stereo system. But I said, well, why didn't you say something to my mum? He goes, are you serious, man? Why didn't you say something? But it's funny, like when we came to this is how close we are. We came and pick you up. And John started talking. He goes, mate, he was excited. And he started talking to Rikishi and to start talking in Samoan. And then he was taking the piss because he knew that I didn't understand Samoan properly, like a lot of words. Like he was speaking to him, and then he was looking at me, and I'm thinking, what the fuck you doing, John? Like, man, like, and he was just laughing, and I was like, you idiot. But man, it was funny because he was excited that day. He said, man, let's go. We're gonna go. And I said, mate, don't get in yet. So
yeah, I miss John, man. Well, he's smart enough to know in Polynesian women, you damn sure don't talk back to them, man.
Yeah.
Had he said anything to your mom, I'm sure he would have got the Haku Tongan death grip.
And his best time that he's had when he came to Italy, he goes, mate, it was and hung out with these guys. He goes, mate, it was the best time he's ever had, like hanging out with these guys.
Well, we knew that, number one, when we knew that John was a big fan of professional wrestling, when you have those family members that always talking professional wrestling. And so when me and Reno was running NWE back in the day overseas in Europe, and so this was the time. So when actually John came over to visit us, and he came spend like a week with us. So his first day he gets there, we got Ultimate Warrior coming in. We booked Ultimate Warrior, and he's actually wrestling Orlando Jordan that night in Barcelona, Spain. And so I was busy doing all the social media in the back of the locker rooms and stuff. So going back and forth, and John's hanging, Samoans. Hang on the back, before this freaking show start, having a few beers. We just have one. One turns into two turns into three. And next thing you know, the more they drink, you can tell Polynesian, they get louder and louder. When you're drinking, right? So I'm going back and forth. And I see him in Reno in a locker room, and TK's back over there. And you're getting kind of louder. The Bluetooth speakers going. They got Polynesian Island reggae jamming. Good vibe. And all of a sudden, I come out and I'm watching the Ultimate Warrior match after with Orlando Jordan in there, and I see John in the ring.
Yeah.
And I look at Reno. I said, "What the hell's John doing in there?" He said, "We didn't have a security guard, so I threw John in there." And so John got in there, and he took Ultimate Warrior clothesline him one time, clothesline him, and John took bumps. John took bumps as if he's been training for a long time, and he was so, I was freaked out, but then I was more so like happy for him because I know like that he's going to remember this for the rest of his. I mean, where do you get to jump in the ring with the Ultimate Warrior in front of 30,000 people? And you're taking bump. So Ultimate Warrior, you shaking. There was this one spot. He's shaking the ropes, that old iconic shake. And he turns around, I think, at one time he go to hit John, and John didn't take a bump. I was like, oh shit. I hope he don't miss the finish. And freaking bump. And, John started bumping left and right. And I was looking at Reno. I said, man, you're an asshole, man. Reno said, good for him, man. But yeah, ever since then, also, way before that, and then when that happened, he's always, we're always talking about, joking to each other about that. Every now and then he messages on he'll contact us, and it's just so good to, to go down memory lane, and we're here to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, it's some good times, some crazy times, and then obviously with COVID happening, and we can't cross borders, or we can't, fly over to the US. But hopefully, when things get back to normal, we can do that, and
Most, most
be awesome to
definitely.
kind of catch up again and eat a buffet, sit at the buffet table and smash
Well,
that.
shit, you don't look like you've been hitting any buffets, man. You look like in tip top shape. How's your workout been? Now, like, are you still like you go and just still spar and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What's your routine?
So I still train as normal. So I was still not as hard as what I used to 2 to 3 times a day, but I would train, every day. Whether a lot of it's a lot of the CrossFit stuff, a lot of Olympic lifts and stuff like that. Hit workouts. So I'd still do that, but
Uh,
and still get into that kind of movement just to kind of get me moving, and I'll still spar, I'll still wrestle, and that as well. So I still love my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu and Greco and freestyle wrestling. So the
uh,
body's is not adapting to what it used to be. I mean, the mind wants to go, but the body
yeah,
is slowly trying to get there. The knees, the back, and
you're
the neck,
starting to
the
you're
shoulders.
starting to feel like the. Are you feeling like the after effects of all the
Yeah.
pounding of the body?
Oh, and you know what, Kishi? Like I don't know if you're the same, but if I had the mentality now, and had that mentality as I was younger, I would have trained smarter. I would have trained like because back then I was doing 7 hours a day training, because I thought to myself, doing all this training would get me, but it was just it was a lot of wear and tear on the body.
Mm,
But like now, I would have had the mentality now. I would have trained smarter, keep my
yeah.
workouts shorter but harder, but just pushed harder. And I would have changed a lot of the way I train now if I was back when I was younger. So I don't know how you would see it yourself.
No, man. Like I said, as long as I wake up every morning and I'm
Yeah,
breathing, I'm happy. But
yeah,
honestly, I have a hard time
yeah,
because my body, has kind of did a 360, because when you're so used to in our schedule, 200 days out the year, every night we're performing, we're
yeah,
traveling, we're performing, and then all of a sudden everything stops. And when everything stops, it's like my body's going to damn. It's not, my body's not used to getting beat up.
yeah,
It's not used to getting not body slam and all that stuff. So to be able to adjust, I can't tell you. I probably went through about, every year, maybe at least 5 different beds,
yeah.
because I keep trying
Wow.
to find the right bed to hold, my weight, at
Yeah,
405, and, to be able to, find that comfort sleep.
yeah,
Sometimes I got to sit up in my recliner, just because for whatever my neck is not feeling right,
yeah,
and it comes in spurts. One night
yeah,
that, my hip hurt, like we're getting up for our daily routine, man. We don't even think about it. So we
yeah,
just going, like we're going to go shopping with the family. All of a
yeah,
sudden they look back, what's wrong? I'm like, hold on, I'll catch up. And then they look, my family, they'll look at me. Oh, come on, Dad, let's go. I say, hey,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
that's easy for you to say, man. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But have some mercy on me.
yeah,
But
yeah,
hey, it's what we sign up to do.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's let our experience,
Yeah,
be lessons for those that are coming through.
yeah. My son wants to fight, so he was saying, "Dad," he goes, he's taller than me. He's just turned 14,
Mm,
and he's 6'5", and he looks
mm,
down on me, and he said, "Dad, I want to fight." And I said, "No, I don't want you to fight." He goes, "Man, it's a hard business,
mm,
because you got to be prepared for it." He goes, "Oh, Dad, I want to do it. This is what I want to do." He's been training jiu-jitsu and wrestling and Greco and freestyle, since he's a kid, and doing boxing and stuff. And he goes, "Dad, no, I really want to fight. I want to fight in the UFC." And I said, "No, I want you to just do basketball, because you can maybe make some money out of that. You can, if you go further in whatever you want to do." I think that the business of fighting is, and I'm guess with wrestling, with pro wrestling as well, like, it is a hard business.
mm.
It's the money make it's a, man, you want to make money, you've got to sacrifice. you have to put your body through a lot of work and a lot of grind, and you will get injured. So if he keeps coming back to me and saying, Dad, I really, really want to do it, maybe. But at this moment, I don't want him to be, because I want him to 100% be committed. It's one of those things that you just can't. There's people walk into the gym, goes, so I want to be a UFC fighter. Okay. As soon as they get punched in the face, then they go, oh, maybe this is not for me. It's one of those things. And I don't know how it is with the people coming into KnokX Pro. They want to be pro wrestler, but I want to go to the WWE. Are they willing to work? Are they willing to sacrifice? So,
it's the training that of our experience of what we went through to be able to do what we do. When they come through, a lot of kids, again, it's different nowadays. Nowadays, the new era, it's I like to call it PlayStation wrestling.
Yeah.
And so when they come through, all they think about is what they see, what they're playing. And then once they hit that 3/4 plywood and they hit those steel posts and they hit those steel ropes, and then that's when reality hits in like, damn, this shit hurts. Oh, no. We just started. You just been in the ring just 3 minutes, you still got a long time to go.
Yeah.
And so, it's those that are passionate about it. What we do, we try to smarten them up to the professional advice of the industry, and then everybody has a choice. But the one thing that we do is we're fair with the kids.
Yeah.
We treat all the kids as if they're own kids, and it's a diverse group of kids that come through as kids. We got young teenagers and even young adults that come through. I think our youngest student is 51.
Yeah.
And so when they come through, we tell them to straight up, this is what it is, man. It takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work. If you want to pay the price I don't know what your thoughts are or what your goal is coming into professional wrestling, to be a superstar, or you want an action figure, or you just want to show people you're on PlayStation 5, but let me smarten you up what it is, because while you're coming with all that, the fact of the matter is your family's home waiting for you. They're supporting you on the sideline. So if you want to play games in this gym, then this is not the place for you.
Yeah. That's something that woke me up when I went to Temecula, and woke me up really good, is when these guys they thought, let's test me out. Man, I was on the back and I was gasping for air, and it made me realize that this is if I need to take this to another level, I need to kind of I need to be here. This is where it's at, so it's one of those things I needed to kind of take to the next level, to be with the people that I need to be at to be at that next level.
So I have a question for you. Is how did you feel when you finally got into the octagon, the UFC? You see all the people that are there. This is what I've been waiting for. Take me back to that feeling that you had when you finally walked through those gates.
Well, the first fight I had is I had it. I think it was 2000. I had the first fight. It was before that, and it's one of those things where I didn't know what to expect, apart from going in there and just throwing and trying to knock this guy out. It's a daunting feeling. It's a you do have a team, but you're the only person going into the octagon. But at that time, my first fight was in the ring. And then we had so many fights. So I had about 7 fights. Eventually, I signed with with Japan. I fought in Pride, and that's in front of 80,000 people in Japan, and that's on another level. But I had a choice to go to the UFC or to Pride, and I signed with Pride. At that time, everyone was fighting in Pride. Mark Hunt was fighting in Pride. Everyone, and it was. To walk out in front of so many screaming Japanese, it's crazy, because they love that sport. They love the sport, and they respect the sport of that as well. And at that time, people weren't educated on mixed martial arts, because they thought rolling around on the ground, they thought they'd just hug him. And until people actually trained it, people actually started to educate themselves of what jiu-jitsu was, and that. So it has come a long way. My first fight in the UFC, I signed with the UFC in 2007. I was fighting a guy named Eddie Sanchez, and that was the time where we met you in 2007. Probably the worst fight of my career, the worst fight. I signed a 4-fight deal with the UFC, Dana White, and it was awesome. So it could be the next big thing coming up. I think when you talk about stage fright, I got stage fright. I don't know if it was the stage fright or the 20,000 people. I don't know if it was that or the packed out in the Mandalay Bay or your millions of people watching on TV. But it got me. Don't even remember the fight, apart from towards the end, and then sitting there and thinking to myself, geez, where is everyone? Before that whole week was like, it made me realize, and reality sets in when you're winning, people giving you high fives, when if you're winning, but when you're losing, no one wants to know you. And I was sitting in the hotel room, and I'm looking around. The only person that was around was John. He was sitting there, and he was the only person that was around. All my other friends and training partners weren't around. So I remember coming back to Perth, and they cut me. After I signed a 4-fight deal, first fight, the only UFC fighter to get cut at that time, with one fight. They said, mate, you're terrible. You're never coming back into the UFC again. And we came back to Perth, and I put on a lot of weight. And I blew out to about 160, 170 kilos.
Yeah.
I was eating, eating McDonald's, Hungry Jacks, fast food, KFC. I was eating buckets of KFC.
You just didn't give a damn. You just didn't give a damn anymore.
Yeah. And I was eating that much KFC. I mean, I love KFC, but I'm not trying to promote KFC. But one of those things that I woke up one morning, I had a bit of pain in my chest. I felt like I was having a heart attack, and I thought, geez, what do I want to do? Number one, I don't want to die. Okay, I need to get back into the UFC. And even though Dana White said that we're never coming back into the UFC. So then I went to a gym and said, listen, I need to drop the weight. I look like Sol the Bulk at the moment, but can you help me get back in, get fit and get back into the UFC? They said, Sol, give us 100%. And I hit it from then. And then I remember having the 1, 2, 3 fights, not with the UFC, but trying to get back. I remember, hitting up Ryan Parsons and said, hey, listen, ready to come back. I'm had 3 fights, 3 knockouts. They said, mate, you're dreaming. You're never coming back into the UFC. And I thought, then I had 4, 5, 6 fights, and all in the space of 6 months. Normally, if you're prepared for a fight, it's like, 2 fights would be, 1 fight would be 12 weeks. That's 3 months of the year. If you're having 2 fights, that's 6 months of the year where you're taking time out to prepare for a fight. I had 6 fights.
You sound like you was on a mission. You had just by listening to you, it was not you against anybody else. It was you against you. There's stuff that you got unfinished business to take care of.
Yeah, I had people on the internet were saying, mate, you're useless, you're too old, you never come back. Man, I can't even believe you're from Australia. He goes, you're not even Tongan. People were saying, like, even my own people were bagging me. And I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. After the 6 fights, I had 6 fights in nearly 6 months. Then we said, hey, listen, can we come back to the UFC? At this time, people were going, Dana White, you need to get Sol the Hulk back to the UFC. This is where they were tweeting you. So then after that, they said, look, Sol, we are watching you, but you might need a few more fights, 7, 8, 9 fights. 9 fights. And that 9th fight was a guy named Sean McCorkle. He was in the UFC. And from then on, they said, yep, let's get you back. So it took me 9 fights to get back into the UFC. So my advice to anyone out there, if you've got a goal, set the goal, because it doesn't matter what happens. And don't worry about what other people say. And Dana White said, man, I was never coming back into the UFC. The UFC said, mate, you're terrible. That was the worst fight ever in 2007. You're never coming back into the UFC. It took me 9 fights to get back into the UFC. And I had that in the space of a year, the 9 fights. I was pushing as hard as I could. And that's so, and there you have it. When I talk about resilience, when I talk about persistence, every day I was hustling. Every day I was pushing. And I had one goal. My goal was to get back into the UFC, and I did. I had to drop the weight as well. I was 170 kilos, dropping down to 120. You had to be 120 to be into the UFC, and there I have it. When I got back into the UFC, my first fight was in Milwaukee, against a Russian guy, and I fractured my rib the week before. So I fought that guy on a fractured rib. So I remember when I was at Milwaukee, and Michael Gordon, he was the doctor for the Milwaukee Bucks. I said, "Hey, Michael, can you give me a cortisone injection?" He said, "I can't, because if it breaks, then it'll be floating. You won't even know, and it could rupture your rupture." And I said, "Okay, well, give me some tablets." And he gave me some tablets to kind of for the painkillers. That didn't work, and I thought to myself, my main thing was to get in there, take him down, and just finish it, knock him out on something. As I lifted him in that first round and I dropped him, his knee hit my rib, and I felt a crack, and it was downhill from there. But I still won the fight, But again, I was just me. I was just hungry at that time. No one's going to beat me. I'm going to win. And there's so many people out there that get to that stage, and it's like, anyone can do anything. You just got to, mentality-wise, it's in your mind, and that's so. Yeah, it's crazy. It's been a crazy ride. From then on, we've just kept, and then I had another fight in that as well, and that was Pat Barry and a few other fights, and with against Walt Harris, and people still doubted me, and when I still went out there and knocked some teeth out. So it's I was still hustling. So
just hearing your story, I have nothing but respect. I can hear the warrior inside of you, of who you are and what you've become. There's the what is it, the testimony, y'all? You when you're on top, everything is gravy, man.
Yeah.
You get friends from all walks of life. Soon as you hit rock bottom, like you're a loser, you lost this and that. Oh, they offer you so quick you can't even find somebody.
Yeah.
And so keep your real ones close by you. And at the end of the day, you don't need anybody to validate you, man. You got to keep moving forward. You do you. And just hearing off Uso your testimony, man. Congratulations. Congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on just, the life that you choose to live. Congratulations of the man that you become, the role model that you've become for our Polynesian people, and just in the fighting game in general. I can't tell you so much how proud of you. As for me, tomorrow's not promised for me, not promised for none of one of us. And it's one thing that I can say to you is that I am so proud of you, and continue the journey, my friend. Somewhere down the line, God has his purpose. In Polynesian, we're a lot in faith and a lot in God, and we understand where we come from. And make no mistake about, we love our culture. We do love our culture. We understand where we come from. But it's the inner strength of the person that, the choice he makes to be able to drive you to the path that you want to be able to do in life. Because at the end of the day, your parents will be gone. Everybody dies. I get that, man. I experienced that this last October with my father through the COVID. And as a 55 and still alive year old man, I'm like this now, man. I never thought my parents were going to be gone. But it's through the teachings that that your loved ones, and it doesn't have to be your parents. It could be your closest friend, or not everybody has good relationships with their parents or their families or their culture. So you have to find that person that is 100% real to you and has nothing but support, don't want nothing from you, but they just want to see you win.
Yeah.
Those are your real ones that keep beside you.
Yeah. And it's family. Families at the end of the day. It's families. Family are the ones that are going to be there. That when I say time, time is so important when I talk about time, because I'll never get back the time that I missed with my girls growing up. I remember what my mum said to me before she passed away for diabetes. She used to say to me, "Soa," she used to go, "Son, fame and money will mean nothing when I'm gone." Amen. I used to laugh. I said, "Yeah, whatever, Mum. Yeah, okay." And I used to laugh, get back on my phone. She used to say to me all the time, "Son, listen to me very carefully. Fame and money will mean nothing when I'm gone." Now she's gone. I understand what she actually means. I know what she means, because I'll give away everything, all the money, everything that I have, everything, to have my mum sitting here and telling me something about just having a conversation, whether she's telling me off and stuff. So I understand now. So it's it's one of those things that I'll never get back. But it's life, I guess. It is what it is, like your father saying.
Well, I know she's proud of you, man, and a lot of people that are close into your circle that know you. You know, for those that understand who Saul really is, and I'm sure that they're proud of all your accomplishments in life.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, Kish, I've got a thing. I've got a few fans that have asked me to ask you. That one of them said that would Kish do a what's to see how well
stink face?
Rikishi. No, he said they asked if they could do a question, or ask you a how well does Rikishi know Australian slang or Australian words. So they've given me 10 words. Basically, when I say the word, you just have to give me the meaning of that word in Australia. So if I say a word in Australian, you just have to say what you think it means in what you think it means. So,
oh Lord,
I said,
Lord!
I can ask him. If he says yes, then we can do it. So,
I'm always about having fun. Why not? You know, this is
okay.
what we train for.
All right, so I'll just pull it up now.
Now,
So
I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't know too much Australian slang now.
Yeah.
But I love y'all.
So if I say the word, you've just got to tell me what it means. Okay. This is an Aussie slang. Okay.
Okay.
A cold one.
Beer.
Yep. Booze bus.
Boobs.
No, it's a police vehicle used to catch drunk drivers.
Damn.
Crikey. So if I said, crikey, geez, that was bloody massive. It's an expression of surprise. Defo. Yeah. It means definitely.
Sir, I believe your mic's on mute at this moment, Rikishi.
All right, Justin. You see what happened? You hit me with those Australian. So you heard the first ones? Did you hear them? Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, all right. So here's a good one. Servo.
Servo.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds like an ice cream.
Yeah, it's the service station, like a garage, like you get petrol.
Servo, boy, I need a lot of lessons, man.
All right, we've got
petrol.
Four more. Here we go. Snag.
I like a snack.
Snag is a sausage.
Let me grab. Oh, salt.
Sausage.
A snag is a sausage?
Yeah, so we call it sausage.
We call it hot dog.
All right. Okay. 3 more. Stoked.
Like I'm pumped up.
Yeah, it's like happy. Yep, happy. Very good. Very good.
I got that one good.
Yeah. Okay. So mozzie.
Ooh, that just sounds mozzie, like nasty.
That's so that's a mosquito.
Oh, mosquito. Mosey. Yeah. Wow. Mosey is mosquito.
Okay, here we go. 2 more. Thong.
Oh, Rikishi. The thong?
Yeah.
Underwear.
So the thong, this is what a thong is.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, 1 more. Billabong.
Billabong. Wow. Billabong. That just sounds like testicles.
Yeah. It's actually
here's my billabongs.
So it's actually a pond in a dry riverbed.
A pond?
So, yeah, it's a pond. So it's a billabong. So we call it, mate. Going to go have a few drinks down at the billabong. So it's like a pond, and it's a.
Wow.
So I think you need to work on your Australian slang, Rikishi.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, Australia. You guys can. I think I got an F for today.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Well, but listen, man, thank you so much for coming on, my brother.
Good.
Much love to all Australia, the city of Perth, and Ofatu, Itonga, all the cultures, our people out there in the Polynesian. Any last words that we can talk about before we go off the air, my friend?
Mate, just thanks, Rikishi, mate. I love you. I love the boys. Black Pearl, Gangrel, all the crew, and also to the Usos, and it just, mate, it's been a pleasure to be on here. And at the end of the day, mate, I cannot wait to see you guys. We'll hop over there soon. But anyone out there, reach out. If you're going through any struggles, there are support services out there, and reach out. There's Lifeline and stuff. So have that conversation. But thanks, Rikishi, for having me on. Love you, brother. And I guess we'll talk to you soon.
Ovatu. Thank you, my brother. Wow. Well, there you have it, fans. Listen, this one I had to go beyond the time limit to be able to catch up with this Uso. Saw the Hulk. As you guys can hear his story, make sure you guys follow Saw on all his social media platform. Man, I just can't just say how happy I am to be able to sit down and have an hour to talk with Saw and to catch up. As you can hear all our testimonies, our stories, his journey of what it is in the industry, be it wrestling or UFC, boxing, MMA, you name it. We all go through hurt and pain just like everybody else. The only difference is that we are in front of a camera. So I'll be damned if we just trying to live life normal without having anybody point fingers at you. And if they do point fingers at you, oh well. Before I go, I'd like to send a shout out to my Uso Gang Grill. Thank you for the T-shirt. There it is, Gang Grill's Wrestling Asylum. Make sure if you guys are out there in the West Coast, out there by Dana Beach, go check out the Uso Gang Grill, the Vampire Warrior. All right. Well, this is love and respect for tonight. Each one teach one. And remember, it's free to be kind. Thank you. Have a good night.